Hey, Random.
Hey, Sharkie.
Hey, do you want to talk about your favorite Warhammer army?
Sure, we can talk about my favorite Warhammer army.
Do you want to preface this video by saying that this is more podcast style, so you can listen to this and do whatever in the background.
Yeah, unless you want to see pictures of all of my unpainted miniatures
Yeah,
and some painted miniatures.
there is going to be a variety of miniatures in various states of completedness.
Mm-hmm. So, my favorite army right now, because it does change,
It does.
as will be evident by all of the both opened and built and unopened boxes.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite army right now is Chaos Space Marines, and then like all of the Chaos sub factions.
Okay.
So that would be Thousand Suns, World Eaters, Emperor's Children, Death Guard, Knights, Demons, and then regular Chaos Space Marines.
And if you had to narrow it down to one subfaction, which one would you pick out of that list?
Chaos Space Marines.
Okay. Why?
So if you play Chaos Space Marines, you can dip into all of the other factions that I just named a little bit. So you don't have access to all of the models from all of those factions, but like you can take basically the battle line unit from each of those factions.
Oh, nice.
So you can take Khorne Berserkers or Rubric Marines, Noise Marines, or Plague Marines. You can also take a small number of Knights. You can take, I think it's up to 3 of the small Knights or 1 of the large Knights.
Oh, wow.
And then you can also take, depending on the size of game that you play, you can take up to, I think it's a quarter of your army as demons. So you get access to all of the, basically you get access to all of the sub-factions in some form or another.
Oh, that's really cool. So, knowing that then, what's your favorite detachment?
So I started on Renegade Raiders.
Okay.
And I really enjoyed using, there are a couple stratagems that I really enjoyed. And then just the army rule was really powerful because it was all your guns have the assault keyword. So you can advance and still shoot. And then you get a bonus to your armor penetration if you target something that's on an objective.
Oh, neat.
And then the stratagems Ruinous Raid, which lets you reroll hits and wounds if you're fighting something on an objective. And then Reverse Haste, which lets you advance and charge. You get +1 to your charge if your target is on an objective. So it's all about taking objectives and holding objectives and fighting over the objectives. And then Warp Charged Engines, which lets you, if you advance a transport, you don't roll, you just get to auto advance it 6 inches. So it makes this like a really fast, aggressive playstyle where you have a bunch of buffs as long as you're trying to take objectives away from your opponent.
Oh, okay.
But I did move recently. I've been playing Fellhammer Siege Host, which a lot of people consider to be like one of the more underpowered detachments from the Chaos Codex, but I've actually been really enjoying it.
So why did you switch?
There's no particular reason. I just wanted to try a different detachment.
Sure.
And so I was able to port a lot of my list over from, there's a lot of overlap. Fellhammer Siege Host, you get a lot of the stratagems affect your infantry, and Renegade Raiders is somewhat infantry heavy, so there's a lot of overlap there. So I didn't have to add very much to my list to be able to do that.
Oh, nice.
And you gain some weirdly powerful effects as the game moves more toward like elite shooting units.
Mm-hmm.
Fellhammer Siege Host makes you basically tougher against shooting.
Oh, okay.
Everything has a -1 to wound against you.
That would make my orcs army significantly less effective against you.
No, your orcs wouldn't care because you don't shoot. It's only against shooting.
Okay. I mean, they shoot sometimes.
So it wouldn't really affect that, but it's got some powerful stratagems in it as well. It has, I really enjoy one, it's called Point Blank Destruction. and it turns all of your guns in a squad, turns them all into pistols. So even like your heavy weapons, you can just shoot in combat.
That sounds awful.
So I really like to use it on. I take a full brick of 10 Terminators, and I really like to use it on the Terminators. And then there's another one. It's called Brutal Attrition. Basically, the way that it works is it's kind of like grenades in reverse. So if you get attacked in melee combat, so in the fight phase, you have a chance to deal mortal wounds back to whatever attacked you.
Okay.
And it's capped at 6, just like the grenade stratagem. So, but you can deal up to 6 mortal wounds against something that's attacking you.
That sounds bonkers.
It's okay. It sounds better than it is because you it's up to 6.
Oh, okay.
So you roll 6 dice, and anything that's a 4 or more, so 4, 5, or 6, your opponent takes a mortal wound. So it really averages out to like 3 mortal wounds most of the time.
Gotcha.
And then there's one. It's called Persistent Assailants. So if you don't fight first, like if your opponent attacks your unit and then you are fighting back later in the fight phase, it gives you hit rerolls. And then if your squad fell below half strength, so you have half or fewer of the models remaining, then you get full hit and wound rerolls. Oh, wow. So it can allow a squad that's kind of nearly out of the game in a lot of cases to really like punch up and take something out with them.
Okay.
So it really helps with that kind of core concept of Warhammer of like always try to trade up. And then the last one that you get is called Siegecraft, and it just gives you just pick a squad, you use the stratagem on it, and anything that charges them during the charge phase just has -2 to their charges. So it can be really effective if you use it on like your back line, whatever's protecting like your home objective. And if somebody tries to like deep strike and go for that long bomb, like 9-inch charge that they need, you can just go, well, now you really need an 11. So good luck.
Oh no, that would be really ineffective, like really bad against my orcs who do like to advance and charge on their water.
Yeah, it's nice against orcs. It's nice against any of the pressure armies. So like World Eaters, other Chaos players if they're in like the Creations of Bile detachment where they're playing like a lot of just fast moving possessed that want to get up close to you. So I actually don't find the detachment as weak as most people do. I've been having really good luck with it.
Nice. I want to circle back to you, the models, and I wanted to ask you, which one is your favorite model to build?
I don't know what my favorite model to build is. I know what my least favorite model to build is.
Okay, which one is that one?
The new Khorne Berserker kit.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Everything in that kit was great, right? I was having so much fun building it. And then I tried to build the guy with the 2-handed weapon. So the guys with the Eviscerators is the name of the weapon. And trying to position those things in a way that the model was like holding it somewhat naturally and holding it in 2 hands it was so annoying. I was so mad. I really felt like I had empathy for the Khorne Berserkers. Like I almost fell to Khorne. My rage was so great at trying to get this stupid model together. And I think it wasn't super fun to build, but I really liked the Cypher model.
Okay.
I think it looks cool. It was not a very fun model to build. It was only a couple pieces.
Okay.
It went together really fast. It's kind of mono pose. You can't really, without chopping it up, you can't really do like a conversion to it. Some people have done some really cool conversions with it, but you kind of have to cut on it and reposition pieces and do that kind of thing to make it look really very different. But I think that the existing pose that he's in is pretty cool. He's just like kind of holding his plasma pistol up and he's like reaching for his bolt pistol. And I just think the model looks cool. He's just a space marine in like a cape, but capes are rad. So
capes are rad. What is your favorite piece of lore?
I don't know if I have a specific favorite piece of lore. Going back to like the sub-faction side, I really like most of the Thousand Sons lore. if we're talking about just regular Chaos Space Marine lore, I do really like Cypher. I think he's a cool character. He's got like mystique and like he's mysterious and nobody knows what his real goals are and like that kind of stuff. It's just he's kind of cool. And then I think kind of the overall story arc of Chaos is also pretty cool. It has like a kind of a morality lesson in it of like they traded like they traded the master, like the emperor, right? They felt like he was, kind of using them in a lot of cases, or that he wasn't living up to his promise of a better tomorrow. And so they basically traded one terrible master for another. So instead of the emperor, now it's the chaos gods. And so I think that's kind of from as deep as Warhammer can get, which is not very deep, really. It's still kind of a fun philosophical question of like, what really is freedom, right? What is if you just go from one master to another, are you really free? What is the morality of betrayal? When is it okay to betray someone if you feel like they've used you? Like all those kinds of things, all those kinds of questions come up, and so I think that adds a little bit to their lore and makes it kind of fun in my mind, and especially again, you're talking about Warhammer, so it's all pretty surface level stuff. So
at the beginning of this little podcast episode, we talked about how your focus is ever shifting. What do you think your next army fascination will be?
I mean, it is going to be orcs. There are already a lot of orcs that are built, and there are probably more painted orcs in the recent stuff that I've acquired than anything else. And I have an entire army I have like a 2,000 point army that is in a box being built, like kind of as we speak. Like I'm not building a model at this exact moment, but I have been building them. So
nice.
Yeah.
And you just got a couple more models.
I did. I actually did. Yeah. I got two big mechs with shock attack guns, and they don't go in the exact list that I'm working on right now, but they pair up really well with some of the stuff that's in that list. So I will probably use them, especially if I play either smaller games or if I play like more casual games.
Nice.
They'll kind of find their way into the list, I think.
Nice. Thank you for telling me what your favorite army is.
You're
right
welcome.
Now.
Yeah. Yeah. It could change next week. Yeah. So
tune in next time to hear about Randon's next favorite army.
Yeah, it's definitely ever shifting, but I mean, I have chaos models from second edition, and those are the only models that are that old that I have left. So I think in the long haul, chaos has proven to be the army that I kind of keep coming back to, even if other things catch my attention. I always come back to playing a chaos faction at some point.
Awesome. Well, I have been Sharkie.
I've been Ramdom.
Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to check out some of our other videos where we talk about the Warhammer combat patrols, Warhammer list building using the 2 combat patrols, and some of our other really fun games that we just like